Yo guys, what's going on? I'm Tim, he's KJ for The Real Sports Talk. Super Bowl 46 is here in Lucas Oil Stadium, and it is a rematch of what I think for sure is the best Super Bowl game of my lifetime, and potentially the best Super Bowl of all time, which is the New England Patriots versus the New York Giants. Obviously, everyone remembers how the one in 2007 went down. And as Ezra from IST said yesterday on our channel, go check out that video, that is really not a game that you need to look at for this one, because the comparison it's not fair, because there's two completely different teams. They have some similar pieces, but as he said, Eli Manning's gotten a lot better, and a lot of the teams, especially the defenses, are very different than what they were in 2007. Now, before we get into our predictions, Justin's predictions will be at the end of this video. He made his video separate, and you can follow me on Twitter at @CashKelly_TRST for The Real Sports Talk, and I will be tweeting during the game. You can hit me up, I'll respond, whatever. Now, first of all, before we get into these predictions, what I've noticed this week is there's just been a lot less buzz about it. Maybe it's just because we live in an area where most people are Eagles fans or Steelers fans, and both those teams are out. But haven't you kind of noticed less buzz this year?
Yeah, I've noticed less buzz this year. The only buzz I've really seen on anything about ESPN, all that, they're all about Gronkowski and his injury. That's the only buzz I've really been hearing about. I was surprised to not hear more so about the rematch and how it's going to be a big deal for Tom Brady. And there's not that much of a kick to it this year. I'm not hearing a lot about it. I'm not hearing anybody that's hugely excited, and I'm excited, and I think it's a great game. I think this is going to be an amazing rematch. I think it's going to be awesome. Like you said, it's two more so different teams than what it was a couple years ago. So there's new players like Hakeem Nicks and all that for the Giants, and it's going to be a great game, though. And I think that there is not enough buzz for this game. I think that it's almost on the DL, on a download this year. It's weird.
Yeah, and I agree with that completely. And the thing that I've also noticed is a lot of people either just don't care about the Super Bowl for whatever reason. I mean, when you get two teams, and yeah, they are different, but when you get two teams that produce one of the best Super Bowls of all time, if not the best, you would think the buzz would be pretty high. And I mean, I hate to break it to you, two East Coast teams, where East Coast is the biggest sports markets, you would think that this would be a lot of buzz. You get one, probably the best quarterback of all time before it's all said and done, in Tom Brady, and then Eli Manning, who a lot of people think is making a push for the Hall of Fame. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but regardless, you mentioned Rob Gronkowski. There is no way in hell that Rob Gronkowski is going to miss this game. He's not going to say, "Oh, my foot's sore. I'm just going to sit out the Super Bowl." So I think people need to back off that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I'm a little disappointed in the fact that there's more hype going on right now, probably about Peyton Manning, than the Super Bowl itself, which is ridiculous, because we all know that Peyton Manning's a Hall of Famer. He's going to be in there, and he's a great quarterback and everything, and everybody's worried about his future. But we got to worry about the present a little bit. I mean, come on, it's the Super Bowl, and we're worrying about a player who might not even play the game of football again, who's not even sure what's going to happen. So I think the Super Bowl needs to be hyped up a little more.
Yeah, it does, and that's what we're going to try and do here. I mean, we've certainly mentioned the Peyton Manning thing, but I haven't talked about it this week because there's nothing really to talk about. Nothing's happened with the Peyton Manning thing, and I don't think for a while, until we find out his medical situation, a ton is going to happen. He'll probably end up getting released, but I don't want to even get on that track. I think that the Giants publicly have been, if you just talk to your friends or whatever, the Giants in a lot of people's minds have been made the favorites right now.
Yeah, I agree, and from the people I've talked to and everything, even I have the Giants winning this game eventually, so I just want to put that out there. But from what I've talked to, it's almost like a mutual thing right now. I don't hear anybody saying, no, there's not going to be a blowout. It's not going to be a blowout. Nobody's going to get killed in this game. It's not an unfair matchup. It's a great matchup. I think it's going to be two different teams. One that has a really explosive offense, one that has a consistent offense, and I just think it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a great matchup, and I can't wait.
Yeah, and so everyone can stop talking about it. Eli Manning is an elite quarterback, and that's coming from an Eagles fan. Eli Manning's an elite quarterback. I don't know why this is that huge of a discussion, that every single game we have to have either someone saying, oh, Eli's not an elite quarterback, oh, Eli is an elite quarterback. He's a very good quarterback, whether... It doesn't matter. People who think he's not elite at this point just haven't watched the NFL playoffs, and people that think he's as good or even in the same league as Peyton Manning are idiots. But I think that the fact that the Giants have been made favorites does not help them, because whenever we see the Patriots not get buzz, what ends up happening?
Well, the Patriots end up winning because Tom Brady throws 10 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically a conversation we had earlier, and I think that something similar might happen like that. And something else I want to mention is that both of these defenses have really stepped up. The defensive line of the Patriots has been absolutely incredible this playoffs. They shut down Tim Tebow's ability to run. We all knew he had no ability to pass. And then they shut down Ray Rice last week too. So they've done a very good job. And the Giants' defense overall, if they lost Week 17, Perry Fewell would have been fired as defensive coordinator. And now there's people saying he could get a head coaching job somewhere. So certainly, I think that we need to look at... We can't really look at that Week 9, I think it was, matchup between these two teams where the Giants won 38-35. And really, a 38-35 game, I can't tell a ton from anyway. But what do you think is the X factor in this game?
I think the X factor is both offenses, the offensive game plans for both teams. I think that Tom Brady and himself, I mean, obviously he's going to have a great game, but the thing that scares me is I think he's playing a better defense in the Giants' defense than Eli's playing in the New England defense. I think that the Giants' defense can get a better pass rush on Tom Brady, and if they rattle him like they did a couple years ago in the Super Bowl, then they have a chance to win. And that's a key, but I think it comes in both quarterbacks, and who gets a better running game, like I said, throughout the whole playoffs. I think whoever establishes the better running game has a better chance of winning. And I think that relies on the passing effect, too. And that's what I'm going for. I think that's the X factor.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are going to be that is my X factor, is both these teams' ability to run the ball. Ahmad Bradshaw's had injuries. He's been all right when he's been in there, but he was supposed to have a big year, and he really hasn't done that. Brandon Jacobs hasn't been very good since the 2007 season, really. And in terms of the Patriots, you never know what you're going to get. Danny Woodhead, the game plans that they make with Danny Woodhead, Ben Jarvis, Green Ellis, and even they threw Aaron Hernandez in there at the running back, a guy who we had never seen play running back before in a playoff game against the Broncos. And that's why it's so tough to pick against the Patriots, because you never know what type of game plan that they're going to throw at you. And I'm just not scared that the Giants' running game is going to be able to produce, especially against the defensive line that has really stepped it up. And I think, as far as the concerns that you have about the offensive line for the Patriots, I think that they're a lot better than they were a few years ago. I don't think Logan Mankins was on the team then. If he was younger, not as good as he is now. And I think that the Patriots' offensive line has gotten a lot better. And I think Tom Brady actually, and that was the best offense of all time, he might have more weapons now than he did then. And you talk about Wes Welker, Gronkowski, the tight ends make a big difference. But he has two running backs compared to having Lawrence Maroney then. I just think his weapons are a lot better.
Yeah, I think he has better weapons now, too. And, you know, like, nobody expected Uchocinco to be any decent at all, which he hasn't. He hasn't done anything all season. So, I mean, you can rule out that weapon because he doesn't really I don't even see him in a uniform. I mean, he doesn't do anything on the field. I don't see him ever. But he definitely does have more weapons than he did before. Deion Branch is a good weapon. I mean, the tight ends is what gets him through. I think that if he didn't have the tight ends, I don't think his offense would be as great as it is, because those two tight ends just do everything for him. It's ridiculous, but I think he does have more weapons now, and I think he has more go-tos. I think that Eli has more weapons now, too, and I think that's also another part you got to look at, too. He has Cruz, he has Hakeem Nicks, he has Mario Manningham, who's becoming a decent wide receiver. He doesn't have much of a tight end right now. I think it's Jake Ballard is their tight end. But
yeah, and Bear Pasco, who sucks.
Yeah, and I haven't seen them do too much this season. I mean, maybe a pass here and there. But like I said, I think whoever gets the running game going is going to win the game. That's what I think. And I think I know you doubt Ahmad Bradshaw a little bit and Brandon Jacobs. They haven't done much, and it's been a lot on Eli's shoulders. But I think that they're going to get a couple of decent runs in the game and get a little kickstart for the offense.
Yeah, and actually, just to get back to one of your points, I'll take Plexico Burst and Kevin Boss over Hakeem Nicks and Victor Cruz, personally. But, and I think part of what has made them so good this year is that Eli Manning's just an overall better quarterback than he was a few years ago. We're getting low on time here. Prediction, what do you got?
I know this sounds maybe awkward to some people. I have a higher scoring game. Obviously, Tom Brady and Eli have been phenomenal this playoff season. So I have the Giants winning 28-24 in a close game, just like a couple years ago. I don't think there's going to be any, late field goal wins or anything like that, like Tom Brady's had in the past. But I do have Eli winning and the Giants winning 28-24.
And KJ's called it the entire playoffs. He called it over the Packers, and he called it over the Niners, and I laughed at him, really, but he was right both times. I'm going to go with the Patriots. I think Tom Brady gets pissed, throws for about 275 to 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, and I think it'll be 24-17, and the Giants will get the ball back with a chance, similar to how the Steelers did last year. They won't convert. The Patriots will get it back, kick a field goal, and win 27-17. Tom Brady will win his 3rd Super Bowl MVP. I'm Sammy's KJ. Keep checking it out. This is a real sports talk.
Yo guys, what's going on? I am Justin for the Cash Kelly and AC Sports Report, here to give you my Super Bowl 46 preview / predictions. It's going to be a pretty short one because I want to hand it over to KJ and Tim here in a few. Just going to give you some insight on who I think is going to be a playmaker, who I think is going to win MVP in the final score. So this year's Super Bowl is going to be at the house that Peyton Manning built, Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's going to be the New York Giants taking on the New England Patriots for the 2nd time in the Super Bowl. Back at Super Bowl 42, the New York Giants defeated the New England Patriots, and now the rivalry is renewed. Now, earlier this season, I think it was the Giants who defeated the Patriots in what would have been like an amazing game. It was out of nowhere. I think Eli Manning took the Giants on the game-winning drive and won against the New England Patriots. A very phenomenal game. And now this team is going to be reconciling in the Super Bowl. So, looking at this game, you got a lot of playmakers on both ends. For the New York Giants, you got Victor Cruz, you got Ahmad Bradshaw. On their offense, going on their defense, you got to look at guys like their defense, Justin Tuck. I think Justin Tuck is the guy you really want to watch out for on that defense. That guy can provide a lot of pressure. This Giants defense has just got to play like they've been played all year. They've been under a lot of stress from media saying, "Oh, this defense not the greatest heading into this season, just too many injuries," and they lived up. They used those in the motivation, and look what they are now. They're in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. Now, if Eli Manning is going to lead this team to a victory, he has got to use all of his main targets. He has got to hit up Mario Manningham, Hakeem Nicks, and their main target in Victor Cruz, because this New England Patriots defense does get sloppy at times, and I think that you got to go with your passing game. The running game is not the great. The running defense for the New England Patriots, it's picking up a lot lately, but I don't think you're really going to go with the running game unless it's like on a short yardage type of thing for the New York Giants. So the guy you really want to watch out for is, I think it's going to be Osi Umenyiora, Justin Tuck on the defense for the Giants, and on the offense, it's going to be their receivers. I mean, this receiving core is just stacked. So Eli Manning has got to use those receivers very, very, very well. Now, going over to the New England Patriots side of things, Brady has a lot of manpower on that offensive line. Logan Mankins really brings word, and you also got to look at their tight ends. You got Aaron Hernandez and the record breaker Ron Gronkowski, who is out of a boot during the media day today, and or the other day if you guys are watching this. He's out of the walking boot. He is ready to play. It looks like he's going to be fine. But if he does feel like if he's gonna feel kind of sore, it's probably gonna be on most reasonable type of plays, like a 3rd down and 6 or 3rd down and 7, somewhere around there where he's gonna be really useful. Now, what Brady has got to do, he has to use Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez a lot. Those are his main 2 targets, and Ben Jarvis Green-Ellis. This is a guy where you're gonna see a big throw-down game. It's gonna be all passing in my book. I think it's gonna be one hell of an interesting type of game. So I think the passing game is going to be very, very seen in this one, and I think overall in this game, I think Brady is going to go to Aaron Hernandez and Rob Gronkowski. So you got to look for those two. You also got to look at Deion Branch. You also got to look at Wes Welker in the mix. Wes Welker is going to be a guy you also going to want to see. I don't really see the running game being able to be played throughout this whole game. So it's going to be the passing. Eli versus Tom Brady. It's just going to be one hell of a game. Now, the final score, I've been talking about this a lot. I've been talking to a lot of players. I've actually got some predictions from them. And I think this is going to be a 27-21 game.